The Utah State Board of Education is currently in the process of revising the Educator licensing system in Utah. This new system will go into effect for the 2020-2021 school year. As a part of these changes, the board is reviewing and revising all licensing rules. This video is intended to provide information to the public regarding possible changes to the Utah Educator Licensing Renewal Rule and to collect feedback on those changes. After watching this video, please visit the survey at the link in the video description to provide feedback on these ideas. Your feedback is very important to us as we prepare to revise the rule. Before watching this video, we recommend that you go to the State Board of Education's website, www.schools.utah.gov, and navigate to the Educator Licensing page and review the current license renewal rules. The purpose of a Utah Educator license is to ensure that an individual has demonstrated the minimum set of competencies necessary to provide educational services in a Utah school. The purpose of Educator License Renewal is to ensure that an individual holding such a license has engaged in ongoing professional learning to maintain and enhance their skills and knowledge in the area of licensing. Our office often receives feedback regarding the current renewal process that it is overly bureaucratic and has been reduced to a meaningless set of requirements for currently employed educators, while being a nearly impossible set of requirements for non-employed educators. Before we get into the proposed changes, it is important to note that the Return to Licensure program described on the website will still exist in the new licensing system. No changes are currently proposed to that program. This means that an individual who chooses not to maintain their license may utilize that program to renew their license if they choose to return to education. The first proposed change is to reduce the total number of required renewal activities for license holders. This change will bring Utah more into line with surrounding states regarding educator license renewal requirements, and will make it easier for those that are not currently employed to maintain their license if they choose to do so. The total required points for renewal would be reduced by half to 100 renewal points for a standard 5-year license. The second proposed change is related to the first. Many of the current activities for license renewal points do not fit with the purpose for license renewal described earlier. The current categories in which educators receive renewal points for simply being employed in various positions will no longer be included in the list of acceptable renewal activities. Specifically, this refers to the current categories A, I, K, and L. The next proposed change is to include a category relating to the common practice in schools where a group of teachers meets together regularly to review common assessment data of students in order to create or revise future instructional plans. Such meetings are valuable time where professional educators are learning from each other and growing together, and therefore align with the purpose of license renewal. The data reviewed should include any formative or summative data collected by the teachers, and should not be limited to standardized test data. These changes are the changes that would directly affect all licensed educators renewing their license. The remaining changes to the license renewal rules would primarily impact educators that are currently employed by a Utah LEA. In case you are not familiar with the term LEA, it stands for Local Education Authority. It is a shorthand to refer to all school districts and charter schools in Utah. The proposed rule would require that LEAs provide a minimum of the equivalent of 20 professional learning hours per school year to all individuals employed in a position that requires a Utah Educator license. These hours would be required to include the various statutory requirements for license renewal, such as training in the prevention of youth suicide. An educator license remains the property right of the license holder, and renewal of that license remains a responsibility of the educator. However, with this change, it would allow some individuals to utilize an abbreviated process for documenting and renewing their Utah Educator license. An educator employed by a Utah LEA would simply need to document that they have participated in the LEA's provided professional learning rather than documenting individual activities. An individual that has been employed by a Utah LEA for all 5 years of their standard license would be able to have their renewals signed off on a simplified form to document the completion of the requirements. An individual that has been employed for only some of the 5 years of their standard license can have each employed year signed off by the LEA, and for each such year they would receive 20 professional learning points towards the 100 required for renewal. Similar to the current system, educators would be required to keep this documentation, and audits of online license renewals will still occur, but will be simplified due to this change. This change would also mean that the Utah State Board of Education would also be responsible for auditing LEAs to ensure that they are providing professional learning opportunities to their licensed educators in compliance with this rule. Any consequences of those audits would be borne by the LEA and not an individual educator. Thank you for watching this video. As a reminder, please visit the survey at the link in the video description below to provide feedback to our office regarding these proposed changes.